Hey everybody, my name is Sam. I'm the writer and director for Helldivers Forever Awards, my own animated series set in the universe of Helldivers 2. We just released our fourth episode about a month ago, and there's three more before that. You can watch them up on the channel. I'm a little sore right now. I kind of exercised my way into an injury, but hopefully that'll mean I'm a little bit more tempered for this kind of a video, because the last time I recorded it, I ended up getting a little bit more on the heated side than I should have. I want to talk about liking something versus criticizing something. And I don't, this is very opinionated of me, so I don't know how much of this is going to be valid in terms of actual definition of words and stuff. But I used to be a part of a writer's group. It was some friends. We would meet once or twice a month, and we would talk about any projects that we were working on and just bounce ideas off of each other. We would also talk about movies. We liked talking about movies. And one director that we loved talking about was Christopher Nolan. We all loved his movies, but there was a common criticism that came up with every movie that we ever talked about. And that common criticism was we didn't like any of his characters. We didn't feel like they were human enough. We didn't feel like they were relatable enough. We felt that they were flat, one-dimensional, not very interesting. And I bought into this. I bought into this criticism for a long time until I started watching his movies a lot more closely. And I realized that Christopher Nolan is not a character filmmaker. He's a concept filmmaker. He deals with ideas, with concepts. You can even see this. You can see this even in something like the Batman trilogy that he did, where Joker and Batman aren't necessarily characters; they're more embodiments. Joker, especially, is really just an embodiment of evil. He's just chaos personified, which ends up actually lending to a very unique character, even if he's kind of flat and one-dimensional. And then in other movies like Interstellar or Inception, well, the characters really are just catalysts to explore the world that Christopher Nolan has set up around them. And so given that, it doesn't really make much sense to criticize Nolan's films for not having character or as much character as another film, say like, I don't know, Roma, or maybe even Saving Private Ryan. I think Saving Private Ryan has more character than a Chris Nolan film, but that's because they're different films. Nolan explores ideas and concepts, and so that kind of criticism doesn't really seem to make sense because it doesn't contend with the actual film itself. That kind of a criticism, to me, seems more like, well, it's my opinion. I just don't like that. I like in my movies where I have characters that are more relatable. Well, that's fine, I guess, but that's not the point of the movie. Like, is that a And I say, is that a valid thing to say? And I don't even necessarily know what I mean when I say valid. Like, I guess if we were doing like a scorecard, like, would you take points off? Like, if I go to a pizza restaurant, am I going to take points off for their salad not being that good? If I go to a Chris Nolan movie who does concepts, am I going to dock points for his characters not being as involved or as fleshed out as another movie that is more character-driven intentionally? The other thing that I noticed in my own personal life was that I started enjoying various forms of media a lot more when I first understood what the media was trying to be, and then judging it based off of that. And I've found that I've enjoyed a lot more things when I understood what the director was going for, or what the point of the music was, or how the musicians were feeling, or what they were going through when they made that piece of music. Or in some cases, what the intention of the game designers were when they were making their game. I've found that a lot of people consider, well, I don't like something to be I don't even know what they consider it to be, but that just seems to be that seems to be the driving force behind a lot of criticism, and then it's masked with other, I don't know, what am I trying to say here? It's fine to not like something, but if you don't like it for the wrong reasons, I'm not quite sure if that's worth listening to. If I'm going to completely dismiss Christopher Nolan because he doesn't write good characters, well, but he's not supposed to. So why would that be a valid criticism in regards to dismissing him as a competent filmmaker? Well, it wouldn't be. He's not supposed to. Like, if you were to take a certain game, right, and you listen to interviews from the creators of the game, and they tell you what the game is supposed to be. Say, for example, they were making a game, and the makers of the game said, well, we're going for a grunt fantasy, where you play as one of the extra soldiers that you see off in the background while the main character is doing his stuff. You don't play as the main character, you play as the background soldier.
Fantasy first was a big thing. It's like, it mattered a little less about all the individual mechanics and more that you really believed that you were this cannon fodder soldier that was told he was a super soldier.
Cannon fodder soldier.
Cannon fodder soldier.
That was told he was a super soldier. And that was the difference we had to get across to so many people, all the marketing people. It's like, yeah, but you're this cool super soldier with all these guns. Like, no.
No.
No, you're not a super soldier.
You were just told you're a super soldier, but you've had 30 minutes of training and you're given all these powerful weapons. You have no idea how to use them.
I feel like that every single round. Every time I hop in, and then you just get ragdogged everywhere, and you can't control it.
Fun. The fantasy was that I'm just one of those random like soldiers and Starship Troopers that gets killed immediately.
Or let's say a game studio wanted to do that. A valid criticism would be the player base coming back and going, hey, this is the fantasy you're going for, but you gave us a bunch of power-ups, you gave us a bunch of overpowered weapons. In fact, the starter pistol just destroys everything, and there's no need to even use a primary. Well, that would be a valid criticism because they went for a certain thing, they didn't hit that goal, and the community's coming back and going, well, you didn't hit the fantasy that you were going for. You didn't hit the goal that you set. Now, imagine that they did set their goal, and they did hit their goal, and they created the fantasy. Now imagine that the entire fan base went, well, we don't like that. Well, okay, that's great. I mean, like, well, if you don't like it, then you don't like it. But is that a bad thing that they said? Like, is that a valid, like, is that worth, hypothetically, of course, again, like, would that be worth review bombing the game, hypothetically speaking? Because you don't like the direction that they took it? Like, let's leave aside like bugs and crashes and stuff. Show me a game that doesn't have that. Let's hit them, because again, hypothetically, there is a game out there that gets a lot of pushback on its game design. But from a lot of people's perspective, when they look at the developer's intention of the game and they look at what the game actually is and they see that they line up, it gets kind of confusing when a lot of the fan feedback is, well, the game's bad. Well, why is it bad? Well, because I don't want to play a grunt fantasy. Then, and for some reason, the next logical move of, well, if you don't like something, then don't engage in it. For some reason, that doesn't click with people. Instead, what does click with people, for some reason, is, well, I'm just going to say that the game is bad. Even though they did exactly what they set out to do and said that they were going to do that and did it. I don't understand. It's really confusing to me. But anyway, I'm curious what y'all think, because for me, when I've tried to understand the actual intentions behind the piece of media and I come to understand them, two things happen. One is that I either end up enjoying the piece of media a lot better, or I look at the media and I go, oh, this isn't for me. Not my game. Battlefield 6 was the big fucking game. So it was going to just destroy Call of Duty. And it did for a little bit. I played it. I was like, this is fun. I'm not going to pay $60, $70. I'm not going to pay for it. I'll play a free weekend, but this is not my game. It is now and again. Call of Duty, not my game. Not for me. Don't play it. I'm an unk. I play Civilization. I'm playing Civilization 5 in the year 2026. I'm not out review bombing the game. Are there reasons to review bomb a game? I guess, sure, sometimes. Is it because you don't like the direction that the developers took? Get the fuck out of here. Why do I care? Why am I bringing this up? Well, this irritates me. This is concerning to me as somebody that's trying to build some kind of a presence around creating his own vision, almost at original content. I can't quite claim original content quite yet. I'm not there yet. But as somebody that wants to communicate his own vision and to see how fan bases treat people that do that is disheartening. The Amazing Digital Circus is another example. Oh, they shouldn't put it in theaters. Because now it's a spoiler avoidance fee. What? God forbid indie animation start taking over Hollywood and get into movie theaters. Oh, it's a spoiler avoidance fee. Get out of it. We used to get it for free. You still do get it. Like, I'm blown away by this. This is revolution. This is changing the game. Hollywood is destroying themselves. I'm going on a rant. Hollywood's destroying themselves, and we have an opportunity to get actually passionate creators into theaters, and people are upset that they have to spend $15 for a ticket. I will pray for you. I will do whatever I can do to help ease your mind of this just travesty. I don't get it. Let me know what you guys think. Episode 5 is in production. We hope to have it out by July, August, probably, definitely, but no promises, but it's well in production. If you guys like what I do, you can support the show. We hire real animators and voice actors. Their talent is well worth the money that we pay them. If you want to help us support, you can become a member or a patron. We have a Discord. We have an Instagram on the homepage. You can follow us there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys when I see you guys. Take care.